This is Com Cafe, episode 49, and let's get to what is the point of, or the connection, a lobster fisherman, TMJ, and the Dragon's Den. Join me today for episode 49, my interview with Dr. Makkar, a dentist from Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, and our discussion about performance-enhancing mouthguards. But first, let's have a message from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Podcast Buddies. That's right. We help people launch their own podcast. And if you want to launch your own show, hop over to Facebook and check out Podcast Buddies. Hey, it's Dwayne Richards. It's Com Cafe time, and this is the place for entrepreneurs, small business owners. We talk about mindset, personal development, professional development. I bring on guests, and I have a special guest with me today. It's a different topic. We actually have the business owner with us today, not just someone talking about coaching, but he is actively involved in the business, actually more than one business. So I have Dr. Makkar with me today. He's a dentist from the East Coast, and East Coast of Canada, of course. And he is also the dental consultant for New Age Performance Mouthpieces. Now, I've actually used a similar product and gotten some great benefits from it, but I'm going to bring on Dr. Makkar, and he's going to share a little bit of knowledge about the origins of performance-enhancing mouthpieces, mouthguards, and how it all came about, as well as his story on how they recently were on Dragon's Den, the popular show here in Canada on the CBC. So, hey, good afternoon, Mr. Makkar, and welcome to the Com Cafe.
Hey, Dwayne, how are you today?
I'm most excellent, and I want to thank you for connecting with me today. You know, we have one of my mentors, Mr. Gordon So, introduced us, and so I just want to first off, say thank you for sharing a little bit of your time today. I know after the big launch on Dragon's Den and running a successful dental practice in, I think it's Halifax, you're a busy man. So I want to first off thank you for sharing your time, and let's just get right into it. Performance-enhancing mouthwear.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that your bite is actually, related to your posture. So there's a lot of research to indicate that when you have an unbalanced bite, your body's going to pretty well be out of alignment. So back in 2005, I do a lot of work with the TMJ, temporomandibular joint. A lot of people have symptoms related to that, such as headaches, dizziness, and basically sometimes they can't really function. So we usually make them a special orthotic that balances their bite. And 2005, I had a lobster fisherman come in that had extreme headaches, made him an orthotic, and he said about 48 hours later, he goes, Doc, I don't have any headaches, but the weirdest thing is happening to me. He goes, I'm a lobster fisherman, and those lobster traps weigh about 78 pounds. And when I have this in my mouth, I can't even feel the weight of that lobster trap going into the water. I just kind of laughed it off because I was more into the treatment modality, and one after another, a lot of the patients were given the side effects of having increased strength with the orthotic. So I decided to myself, I said, what if we took this bite, incorporate it into a mouthpiece or a mouthguard? Would it make you stronger? Would it give you better flexibility and balance? And that's how it all started. So basically back then it cost $2,000 for a mouthpiece. Reason why is because it was quite an intense fitting process. We have a jaw tracking device to track the lower jaw in the right position to where the bite's supposed to be and capture that bite, and then send it to a lab, and the lab would construct us a mouthpiece. And from there, we started doing trade shows in the MLB, Major League Baseball trade shows, NFL, National Football League trade shows, NBA, and that led us to fitting a lot of professional athletes, such as Manny Ramirez at that time, he used to play for the Boston Red Sox. Complete total fan of our product. He never even endorsed a product in his whole life, and that was the first product that he actually endorsed. And then Shaquille O'Neal at that time played for the Phoenix Suns. Shaquille's foul shooting was really bad because he had forward head posture, which was related to an unbalanced bite, and his foul shooting went from 46% to 67%. And then a lot of celebrities got onto the bandwagon about the mouth guard. The only problem is that the cost. It was too expensive, right? So not everybody could afford to have this product. So in 2010, we just kind of, didn't have the sales that were expected from such an expensive item. And 4 years later, in 2014, I got a call from a gentleman named Rob Carlton, who owns a company in Mississauga, Ontario. And he developed a mouthpiece which was really made for the masses, that a person could really fit themselves. And he invited me to Toronto, and I went there and I looked at it and I said, Rob, this is absolute crap. It's not going to work. So basically from there, what I did is I took all the data from all the bites that I had done in the previous 6 or 7 years of all the athletes that I did. We came up with a statistical average or a common average where if you put this mouthpiece in, you're probably going to get the result that you need. And that took about a year of R&D to do. And in the beginning of 2015, we started marketing on our website. And our niche market was bodybuilders, weightlifters, strongmen, because they really clench their teeth when they lift weights and they damage their teeth. But at the same time, they were getting the performance out of the mouthpiece. So it started being a really big hit in that market. And then just recently, Dragon's Den came along, and we taped the show in last week of April of 2017. It aired in the last week of September of 2017. And the Six Dragons, they absolutely loved the product, and they were actually fighting and bidding over to get it. And, that's basically where we are today is because of Dragon's Den, the product has gotten a lot of exposure, and the sales have increased immensely. And now we're getting into diverse people trying it, such as people, for instance, people that in archery. 2 weeks ago, we had a person that's a professional archer. He tried our mouthpiece, and he said he couldn't believe the improvement in balance, the neck stability that he had, and less fatigue that he had also when he was doing it. And also we have cyclists now that are using our product. So now what's happened is it's kind of gone away from that body lifting world to more diverse applications of the mouthpiece.
That's fantastic. Now, with that, I have a different question for you today. What was the challenge? So obviously, you did the recording on Dragon's Den back in April, but it didn't air to September. And I know as part of that process, you had to sign non-disclosure documents, and you really just have to sit on it for a number of months. What was that like?
Painful. Very painful. Not being able to tell anybody. A lot of my friends that know me know I like to chatter a lot, so it was hard, right? But you're right. You had to sign a contract. If you actually told anybody of the deal or what happened, there was consequences. So basically, you had to keep your mouth quiet until the show aired.
Yeah, but of course, and from the results of the show, when you taped it back in April, that there's a serious upside. So there's also incentive to follow the rules, because the upside of being on the show, and like I said, maybe you can just share a little bit. We talked briefly that the upside, 5 minutes after the show, you guys were getting you're getting extra traffic to the website. Your sales for the days and weeks following that episode were a nice significant boost. So there's a bit of that pain, but then the upside benefit was significant for you. Yeah,
I mean, okay, first of all, you got to realize that the mouthpiece gives you instant results, right? As soon as you put it in, you get instantly an increase in balance, range of motion, flexibility. So a lot of people think it's magic, but it's not. It's science. It's all science, right? So you get a lot of that. Before Dragon's Den, you get a lot of that skepticism, it's not science. I don't understand how it works and all this stuff. But when we got on the Dragon's Den, one main objective was to show how the product worked. And to be honest with you, we really did not care at that point if we got a deal because we treated it like an info commercial, right? We wanted the exposure, right? But we weren't expecting a bidding war between six dragons. And if a lot of people watch that episode, you can see the shock in our faces. We're like, what, right? Because really, we just went on to do the demo. And so with the dragons doing all that, it gave us a lot more credibility too. Because obviously they wanted the product and they wanted to invest into it. So that truly helped, sell the product.
What was the biggest challenge you faced in preparing to be on the Dragon's Den? Like, is it is it having a knowledge of your numbers? Is it having a marketing plan? Is it just, previous sales? What was the biggest challenge in preparing for the show?
Well, like everything I do, it's preparation and planning, right? So I'll be honest with you, I watched 55 episodes of Dragon's Den before I went on.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Right. So, one of the things is valuation. So you got to be careful of that, right? One of the things is, it's the patent. We do have a patent on our product. So really, after watching 55 shows, the day before, we kind of put everything together and we rehearsed it, right? And we kind of handled the objections before we got the objections, right? So that's when you watch a show, you don't hear anything about evaluations or anything like that because, we kind of tailored it, the pitch accordingly.
Right. What would be one piece of advice, like if someone has something, has a product that is, and they're thinking about going down the route of, there's Dragon's Den, but there's also smaller. There are a number of smaller platforms as well, similar to Dragon's Den. What would be that one piece of advice to share with someone when they're thinking about, is my product, is it good enough, or would it qualify for even being?
Okay, one word: passionate. Be passionate about your product. Be passionate about what you got, and make sure it shows. Don't fake it. Love your product, okay, and it'll come through. Like a lot of people might invent things or show things, but it sometimes appears like a job. Like they're going out there doing another job, right? Don't ever do that. Just be very passionate about what you have. Own it. It's yours, right? One of the things that the producer said to us before we just got on, before we were walking onto the show, he had a huddle with all the people. There was 8 other people that were going to pitch that day. And he had a big rally with all of us. And he goes, this is your moment. This is your time. Okay? Don't screw it up. All right? He goes, you'll never have another opportunity like this. Get your stuff together. Get out there and show those guys what you have. Right? And he got us all pumped up in there, to get it going. So I guess you got to be passionate. You got to be excited about your product. And just go out and do it. Because if you love your product that much, it's going to happen for you.
Mm-hmm. Right. What was your biggest takeaway from being on the show? What was the one thing that maybe you didn't really realize about the product, about the group you're working with, about yourself before you went on the show that you realized after doing the show?
You never stop learning, right? You learn all the time, and you're on the stage, and you're listening to the Dragons, and they have more business knowledge than you. They're more entrepreneur, and so to me, I'm a more observant guy. I listen and I kind of absorb it all in. So for me, never stop learning about your business. Never stop learning about your product, right? Because the day you do, you're not going to do well.
Yeah. All right. How many times have you watched the episode?
3.
I have to ask that question. Sometimes it's maybe not, because it's it was so painful. But in your case, it was such a great experience that you want to watch it a couple of times.
Yeah.
The nice thing is it's there that you can always go back to. If you forget a lesson about it, you can go back and watch it now and pick up something else, because you do have that session of the Dragons giving you, asking you questions or giving you input, which is fantastic.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And we won't spill the beans. We'll actually make people go, and I'm going to put a link to I'll put a link here in the notes where they could go see the episode. Now, do you guys have the episode somewhere? Is it on your website, or do they have to go to CIB?
Yeah, it's on our Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually the first thing on our Facebook. Yeah.
Nice. And what's it? Is it New Age Performance? Is that where they can find you on Facebook?
Yeah, newageperformance.com.
Fantastic. All right, I'm gonna leave it there for now because I'd love to have you back on, but that was a lot already, and I just want to thank you, appreciate your time, and respect your time, and just say, congratulations. We'll
Well,
we'll save a future episode to get more out of it because we don't want to tell people.
well, before you go, Dwayne, like
Yep.
you've been an incredible interviewer and stuff, right? So the next time we talk, I'm actually working on another business project related to social media.
Oh, nice.
Right? And it'll blow up social media totally for every entrepreneur and business person on this planet. So
Okay.
next time we talk, I'll reveal it to you a little bit, and hopefully we'll do an interview on that. And I think you'll be jumping up and down.
All right. Now that I didn't even know this, so this is a special for the listeners. So that's a definite reason why people should like and share this episode, and then they should hop over to iTunes and subscribe, because if they subscribe, they'll be guaranteed to get an update as to the episode. And also, I'll make sure I let people know when you're going to be back on. So thank you for that nice little teaser at the end to make sure people continue to keep an eye out for the next episodes of the Calm Cafe. And have a great day. And that was episode 49 of the Calm Cafe, my interview with Dr. Makkar. Actually, this interview episode marks the 1-year anniversary. Yes, 1 year on the airways. What a ride. It's been a great experience. Learned a lot. And don't worry, I'm still learning. Getting better each episode. And talking about episodes, I have a number of fantastic guests coming up in the next couple episodes, including award-winning author, and some international flair, including entrepreneurs from Australia. And hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you want to learn more about the Calm Cafe, remember, you can find us at communicationsforresults.ca or on Facebook at Communications for Results. Thank you and have a wonderful day.